Welcome to Love in Life, a guide to a positive mindset. My aim is to show you that the key to a happier and more positive mind is to love the life you have. We will look at tips and tools you can use to improve your mindset, and the best thing is, we'll all be on this journey together. Welcome back to Love in Life on this beautiful June day. I'm sat out in the conservatory again today. It's 8 o'clock in the morning. I'm a day late on recording this, and I'll tell you why in a little while. But I'm sat out in the conservatory. You might be able to hear Hugo snoring in the background because he sat right next to me. But you should hear the birds chirping in the background as well, which I quite like that. When I've listened back over the few episodes that I recorded out here, I really like hearing the birds chirping in the background. So yeah, I just feel like it's quite a calming, serene sound, isn't it? So hopefully you agree. I'm not sure about the snoring, but hopefully you agree about the birds. Hopefully that balances out the snoring. So the reason why I'm late, if you follow me on Instagram, then you'll know I have celebrated my birthday this week. Yes, I'm 41. I'm officially into my 40s now, which doesn't bother me for the record. I actually don't give a shit how old I am. It's all about how you feel. I'm enjoying this particular cycle of my life, so that's all that matters. But yeah, so I have been celebrating my birthday. My lovely husband surprised me with a couple of days away. We went down to Cornwall and we stayed in this really cute little hut, and it had a little hot tub, and it was like in the countryside, so we just had the most lovely views, like no sounds apart from the birds. There's a theme here, isn't there? I really love the sound of birds. Yeah, so that was absolutely lovely. We did a very, very long walk on the day before my birthday. We walked into Loo, so which is in Cornwall. I don't know if anybody knows the area, but it's a beautiful place. We were about 5 miles outside of it, so we walked into Loo, and with the 2 dogs as well, by the way, who are obviously French bulldogs and not really equipped for long distance. But yeah, so we had a nice long walk, and even though it was a hot day, we went through the woods so as it wasn't too hot for the dogs, so it's fine, by the way, just in case you're worrying about how hot it was for the dogs. And walked around Lou for a couple of hours, had a delicious lunch in this cute little vegetarian cafe, and walked back again. So yeah, we did about 12 miles. It's becoming like a running joke with us. Like whenever we go anywhere, the 2 of us, we don't do this with the kids because they're like teenagers and allergic to walking. But we always like pack our walking boots now because we just end up going on massive long hikes whenever we go away together, which I love walking. I absolutely love it. And this all started about 5 years ago when we went to Ibiza, and we just decided to, walk, see how far we can walk into Ibiza town. And I can't remember now how far away we were, but it was quite a long way. Anyway, we ended up, bearing in mind, we hadn't really planned to do a long walk, so we only had our flip-flops on. We ended up walking up this like really big hill, but it's like, how can I explain it? It's like a rocky hill on the coastline, which goes up to Ibiza town. So if you can imagine me in my flip-flops walking up a rocky hill, it was just hilarious. Obviously there was lots of blisters that day, but yeah, since then I think that day we ended up doing about 12 miles as well. But yeah, so that is becoming our thing now. Like whenever we go anywhere, we just have to make sure we take our walking boots, and that just suits me perfectly. So how are you? I hope you're doing well. Hope you've been keeping well this week and keeping positive. as I said, I am a little bit late going out with this one and I wasn't really prepared for it. So I put a few questions. I asked people to ask me questions that they might want answering about the law of attraction. And I had a few questions back. So that is what I'm going to discuss today. So one person wants to know how I got into the law of attraction. How did I learn about law of attraction? I'm pretty sure I've talked about this in one of my previous episodes, but I'm not sure how much detail I went into it. But basically, in 2020, so I've not been a long-term follower of the law of attraction. I only learned about it in 2020. And I've talked about a friendship that ended in 2020. And it was basically around that time, like I felt really hurt and really, I don't know if I want to say used, but anyway, I felt really hurt by this friendship ending, the way it ended. I'm not going to go into too much because I'll probably end up crying, and there's things that I'm not prepared to share. But it was a friendship that it was quite a short, intense friendship, and the way it ended really made me question myself. It really made me look inwards and try and understand why do I attract people who bring so much fucking drama into my life? So, yeah, that's how my journey started. And my sister said something to me about the film The Secret, which is obviously based on the book. And so I gave it a watch, and I'd heard about law of attraction before, and I kind of like knew about it, but I wasn't really a massive follower of it. And the film just blew my mind. So I got the book, read the book, and yeah, tested out a few little manifestations later on that year, and I was like, fucking hell, this shit works. And it's funny because this particular time in my life was a real turning point, to be honest, because that was the time when I started getting up at 5 a.m. and started doing yoga every day. And for the record, I don't necessarily do yoga every day now, but I do some form of exercise most days. So yeah, it was a real turning point for me. And that was when, it was the start of a whole self-development journey, not just learning about law of attraction, but just learning about myself as well. So, yeah, I mean, like I said, the particular friendship that ended made me question why I attract people that bring drama to me, because it's not the first time that has happened. And if you go back a couple of episodes, I've talked about certain friendships that have brought drama into my life. And, I must have been putting something out there, which made me look into myself, which made me try and learn more about myself. And that was when I realized that I'm an empath, and because I take on other people's energy, that draws those people to me. So people who have got a lot of drama to give are looking for drama takers. And unfortunately, I was a drama taker at that time. And also, now I come to think of it, round about that time, obviously this was in 2020. So we were in lockdown, and the time of this friendship fallout was in the times when it was just starting to relax a little bit, and we were allowed to see people in our gardens. And yeah, so it was through the pandemic when we were all really sheltered and really fucking scared at the beginning, and all that drama that was brought upon by this friendship, by this person, it also made me question all the other fucking drama that was going on in my life. So I know the whole pandemic drama was going on in everybody's life, but it made me question, why am I watching the news every day? Why am I watching how many people are dying every day? Like, how is that going to benefit me? So it was from that point that I stopped watching the news. I stopped watching any telly. Like, me and Craig don't watch any TV. We might watch the odd thing on Netflix, but I do not watch any news, because that is drama you do not need. Unless it directly affects you, I just don't think you need that drama in your life. And I know you get people that say, well, you need to know what's going on in the world. But like, why do I need to know what's going on in the world? And I don't mean that in a like selfish, like, oh, it doesn't matter what's happening to anybody else. But what can I fucking do about it? I'm all about raising your vibration. And if I'm watching really sad, scary, whatever, shocking things on the news, then that's bringing my vibration down. And with what I know now, I am a massive believer that if, as a whole, as humanity as a whole, the higher our collective vibration is, then the happier the world is, the happier place the world is and will be. So by watching news that doesn't affect us, that's bringing our vibration down for no fucking reason, but it's also bringing the collective vibration down. So you're not doing yourself any favours, and you're not doing anybody else any favours by letting that shit bring you down. Anyway, I kind of went off on one there, didn't I? The question was, how did I learn about law of attraction? And I'm now talking about the news. But yeah, so that was like my whole journey of getting into law of attraction and the start of my self-development journey, basically. I wonder, actually, now I'm thinking about it, if everybody starts off by having a dramatic event that triggers them into finding out about law of attraction, that, you know, I wonder if that happens, or if it's just something you've stumbled across. So please do get in contact and let me know, because I would love to know. I genuinely love to know if it's something you just stumbled across, or if you had some kind of drama in your life that made you look inwards or outwards. I guess you're looking outwards with law of attraction, aren't you? The whole bigger picture, the whole universe. Anyway, let's go on to the next question. The next question is, have you ever lost faith in the law of attraction? And I have to say, the honest answer is no, I haven't. And I guess the reason is, like, I've always believed that everything happens for a reason. Even before I knew anything about law of attraction, I always just have said everything happens for a reason, and truly believe it. So I've never lost faith in the law of attraction. And maybe one of the reasons for that is because I've tested it out along the way. So I've tested it out by just trying to manifest like little things along the way, because I think the little intentional things that you think, right, if this happens now, I know I've manifested it. So for example, I know I've talked about this in the past, but when I went to the post office over Christmas time once, I had to send a parcel, and obviously the post office was going to be really busy, but I visualized the whole way there that I would turn up and I would just walk straight into the store, and it's like inside a grocery store, and I would walk straight to the back of the store where the post office is, go straight to the front of the queue and pay. Like, I literally visualized that the whole way. And I also visualized walking out of the store and seeing a queue going around the corner. And when I got to the store, there was nobody outside. I walked straight in, straight through to the post office counter. I walked out and there was a fucking queue going right round the corner. So things like that, I've tested it out and I know it works. Like things like that. If you truly believe, if you visualize every single little step of the way, then the little things like that are, I think, are easy to manifest. But then I find it quite easy to visualize. I know a lot of people don't. But little things as well, like, right, I'm going to have this particular parking space. And I'm really specific with which parking space it's going to be. So, like, the more detail you can put in, the better. So, and like when that parking space was available when I got there, it works. So I've tested it out along the way. So I know it works. So that means when anything happens that could potentially make me question my faith in it, I have faith that things are happening for a reason. So when I broke my hand, for example, God, that feels like fucking ages ago now. Sorry, I'm swearing a lot in this episode, aren't I? I'm really tired today, and I've just come on, so that might explain it as well. So yeah, sorry about that. But yeah, when I broke my hand, the thing that was going through my head as I was falling over was, what's the message? What's this trying to say to me? No, so I haven't ever lost faith in it. I don't think, why does this happen to me? I think if you're able to get out of victim mode, like, sorry to say it, but if you're able to get out of victim mode and see the bigger picture, then you can have faith that things are falling into place for a different reason, for a higher reason, and it doesn't necessarily make sense to you why at the time, but you kind of just have to believe that things are going to work out in the end, and they always do if you let them. And if something does happen, then, like with that friendship, for example, and again, this is before I even knew anything about law of attraction, or before I was even really knew much about it, I should say. But my question was not, why does this happen to me? My question was, right, what am I putting out there? What am I doing to attract this? It kind of makes me look at myself rather than thinking, no, this shit don't work. And I believe that usually those things are put there to you to show you, to teach you how to deal with those situations. So as then what you are putting out there is it will attract the right things eventually. So like that particular instance with the friendship, that I believe that experience was put there to show me that I am putting that particular vibe out to people, that I am willing to take their drama. So now I'm very aware of that. So yeah, don't lose faith. Just question what's going on. Question what you need to change, what way of thinking you need to change. Right. And then another question is, what are 3 practices you do to manifest something you desire? So my top 3 things that I do to manifest something is, firstly, I get 100% clear on what I want and why I want it. Like, you have to be as clear as you can be, as specific as you can be. And the most important thing for me is why. Like, why do you want it? Why will it benefit you? And how will it benefit others around you? And this is super important. If you're the kind of person that needs to feel that you're helping other people, or if you're a people pleaser, like, there's nothing wrong with that as long as you don't let it affect your mental health. I've openly admitted that I'm a people pleaser. And so for me, it's like, how is that going to affect the people around me as well as myself? So that helps me get really clear on what it is I want and why I want it. Secondly, understanding what limiting beliefs might get in your way. Because so obviously we know that if you've read The Secret, you know that the saying is ask, believe, receive. So the first part of my action there, getting clear, that's the asking part of it. Believing is the next part. But I don't think it's enough to just try and believe. Like, you have to, like, how do you believe something? If you've got limiting beliefs in your way, you can't possibly believe something. So you have to figure out what is standing in your way that stops you believing that. Does that make sense? So, for example, if you've got a financial goal that you want to achieve, but you've got real issues, if you've got money blocks and issues around money, then you're not going to achieve that goal, because you need to address those limiting beliefs first. So understand what it is that could potentially stop you achieving that, and work on your limiting beliefs. And this is something that I'm really doing a lot of work on at the moment, because personally, I've always struggled with, I know what my limiting beliefs are. I know what I want my new belief to be, but how do you get from A to B? Like, that little bit in the middle is the piece of the jigsaw that's missing for me. Is like, how do you actually change your beliefs? And this is something my course, I've told you I'm doing a new course. My new course is exactly that. It's exactly how to work out what your limiting beliefs are and how to change them, how to actually change them. Not to just tell yourself your new belief, but to actually believe it. So that's something I will talk about later on in later episodes. And then thirdly, visualization is like key for me. So whether you are good at actually visualizing or not, like, you might not be able to see it in your head. If you close your eyes, you might not be able to see it, but can you smell it? Can you feel it? Like, what emotions will you feel when you have manifested the thing that you want to manifest? What does it taste like? What does it feel like? How are you going to feel? What are you going to do? How are you going to celebrate it? What steps are you going to take to get there? Like, all of that, you have to be, in my opinion, well, what I do is visualize all those different steps and have constant little reminders. So if you have a vision board, that's amazing. If you can put your vision board on your phone as your screensaver, that's amazing. I think episode 9 or 10, I've talked about vision boards, and there is actually a vision board template. So if you haven't got one to put on your mobile phone, go back to that episode and go and do it. Or I think actually if you click on the link in my show notes, then it might take you to my vision board template. But that is a must, because that, if it's constantly on your phone, you kind of get to a point where you're not really seeing it anymore. You're not consciously seeing it, but your subconscious is seeing it. And that is when things start to change. So if you can have your vision board as your screensaver, then do it. And then I find the best time for me for visualization is just before I go to bed. And I do find it tricky because I always fall asleep. So, but I, first of all, put myself into a state of gratitude. So I do that by thinking of all the lovely things that have happened that day. If loads of different lovely things have happened that day that you're grateful for, then just try and pick like 3, like your top 3 things that happened that day. And quite often I fall asleep at this point, which is amazing, by the way, even if I haven't got to the visualization part. Like, what a lovely way to fall asleep. But then once you've got into your state of gratitude, then start visualizing. And if you can fall asleep visualizing, manifesting, then again, that is going into your subconscious. Like I said, that is when things change. So if you can do that just before bed, just as you're lying down to go to sleep, that is the best time to do it, in my opinion. So those are my top 3 practices. Get 100% clear, understand your limiting beliefs, and visualization. And then finally, the last question I've had is, do you have any tips for writing law of attraction letters? And it's something I've heard about in the past, and I don't necessarily do like letters as such. But one of my part of my morning routine is writing out my affirmations. And I kind of do this, I guess it is like a letter really, but it's based on all the things I want. And then I list all the affirmations, so all the statements in the present tense of having that, of being that, whatever it is. And something I've just done actually, which with my new course, something that they've got us to do is to write a mission statement of where we see ourselves in the future. And it's the same thing. What you want to achieve from it, what you see the outcome being, what you see the benefit being to yourself and others, everything I've talked about so far, and writing it in present tense, but not just writing it as just a list of affirmations like I said I do in my morning routine, but writing it as a statement, writing it as a like, oh my God, I can't believe this happened today, you know, and like really put some emotion and really put some feeling into it. And I really like this actually, because I think there's a massive difference between writing down it as an affirmation and writing down as if you've done it. So for example, if one of your affirmations is, okay, I'll give you one of mine. I have a happy, healthy, slender body. Thank you, Louise Hay. I got that from you. But listen to the difference, right? So if you say it as an affirmation, I have a happy, healthy, slender body. I have a happy, healthy, slender body. Like, does that feel emotive? How does that make you feel? It's pretty like, Whereas if you put emotion to it, so not to write it as an affirmation, sorry if you heard my tummy rumbling then, but if you phrase it like this instead, oh my God, I can't believe it. I've just looked in the mirror and I've just realised I have a super flat tummy. Oh my God, I can't believe it. I've just stood on the scales and in the last 6 months, I've lost 2 stone. Like, what a difference. I have a happy, healthy, slender body to that. Like, it just makes you feel more excited, doesn't it? So that's something new that I'm going to do more of, and maybe you could give it a go as well. And then the aim is to write that out. So all the things that you want to achieve, write them out as affirmations, but then put some real energy into it. Like, put it as if you're doing a speech and telling people, getting really excited about it. And then put that away, and then in a year's time you get it out and look back and see how much you've achieved. So I'm really looking forward to doing that. Right, well, I hope that's been helpful. You've maybe found out a little bit more about why I've got into the law of attraction today. Hopefully you've heard a few tips that you might be able to put into your daily practices. But that is all I've got time for today. Thank you so much for your questions. Obviously, you're always welcome to send me any questions and I'll address them in the episodes, or I'll address them directly if that's what you would rather. I'm always available. Send me a DM, or in my link in my show notes, there's a way that you can send me an email. So yeah, thank you so much. So guys, I am on a training course next week as part of my new course that I'm doing, that I've signed up for. I'm on a 3-day course next week up in Manchester. So I'm probably, if I'm being realistic, I'm probably not going to get an episode out next week. So don't expect to hear from me next week on my podcast. I'm sure I'll be posting on Instagram. I mean, if I do get a chance, then I will put a little episode up. So if you don't follow me or if you're not subscribed, then head over and do that now, so as you know if I do release anything or not. But expect to hear from me in a couple of weeks' time. And I can't wait to tell you about my new course. Like, I haven't really wanted to say too much about it so far because I haven't been to the in-person events yet, but I'm super, super excited to tell you more about it. So I'll tell you all about that next time. And hopefully I will have my guest on next time as well. So have an amazing couple of weeks and I will catch up with you then. Thanks everyone. Love ya. Bye.